Leaders, welcome to week 16. Someone said, show me your schedule and I'll be able to predict where you would be in a few months. This week we're going to be talking about prioritization, putting first things first. And which better place to start than this quotation from the Bible? In Matthew 6:33, Jesus says this, but seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. When he talked about all these things, it was the things that people generally run after in life. Why do we prioritize? Every single day, each one of us is given the same equal credit of 24 hours. But why some people spend that time in productivity, others spend it in wasting time. Are you investing time in relevant priorities? Are you putting time into the things that you really want to do? The things that will help you accomplish your mission? Or are you just living your life anyhow? Now, when we look at Jesus' life, he spent time in ministering to the people, praying to his Father, empowering his disciple. And all these activities reflected his mission, which says, the Spirit of the Lord is on me because he has anointed me to preach the good news to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim deliverance to the captives and recovery of sight to the blind, to release the oppressed. That's in Luke chapter 4, verse 18. Do your activities reflect your own mission statement as a leader? Are you ensuring that the most important priorities are given the necessary time investment? If you sow time in the right things, you will reap the right results. Do you prioritize? Now, one thing that can help you prioritize is what we call time quadrant or time management quadrant. So basically, it helps you categorize your activities or your day in terms of what is urgent and important, what is maybe urgent but not important, and what is not urgent but important, and what is not urgent and not important. Now, in activities that are in the first quadrant, which is the quadrant of urgency and importance, you have things like crisis, pressing problems, deadline-driven activities or projects. These are things that you really cannot do a lot about because you have to do them. All right. Now, in quadrant 2, however, this is what we call the leadership quadrant or quadrant of leadership. This is where you do the planning, the vision, the preparation, where you kind of put your activities in terms of urgency, and where you can actually have the opportunity to plan for goals or activities that reflect your mission. So this is where the leader wants to spend a lot of their time, not in the first quadrant. Now, a leader that spends a lot of time in the first quadrant, i.e. the quadrant of urgency and importance, can end up facing a lot of stress. The other quadrants that you have to, as much as possible, avoid are quadrant 3 and 4. Quadrant 3 is the quadrant that says not urgent and not important. This is called the quadrant of deception. This is where you have some interruptions, unnecessary calls, some meetings that you definitely probably should not be attending, and activities that don't further your purpose and mission. So if you're busy spending a lot of time in this quadrant, you're actually going to end up being deceived because it's going to push the other things which were supposed to priorities into quadrant 1, which makes them now become urgent and important. Quadrant 4 talks about the quadrant of not urgent and not important. Now, this is the quadrant of complete waste. It's about trivias, busy work, taking phone, some calls, escape activities, just checking, you read the same story in one news site, you go to another news site, excessive internet, TV, excessive Facebook, recreational activities, things that waste your time. They do waste your time and do not help you to achieve or accomplish your goals. So a leader should not spend time in quadrants 3 or 4, because if you spend time, a lot of time in those quadrants, you end up being stressed. I want to encourage you to start planning your week more intentionally, to take complete control over it so that you can make greater benefits of your time. God bless you. See you next week.